Hello Leo, welcome to your reading for April 6th through to the 11th, and it's going to be general, so please take what resonates and leave the rest for someone else. I'm going to welcome in the Archangels, Ascended Masters, light beings, spirit guides, our higher selves, and any animal, ancestral or dragon guides you feel resonant with, Leo. Now we have, at the moment I have in the house an adopted stray black cat in the next door room. I'm not sure what it's going to do, so I might have to pause the video here and there. Right, let's see what's going to jump out here for you, Leo. Right, we have the awakening. So I think maybe recently you've been feeling into that energy over the last few weeks, few months. 10 of Wands, okay. 10 of Swords and the 2 of Wands. So it's looking like with your 10 of Wands here that maybe you are needing a break, Leo. Like sometimes this is that you've been working long, you've been working hard, you've been working regularly, very consistently, and maybe you're experiencing some, physical symptoms from overdoing it, possibly, overdoing things. Or it could be that, you're just due for your holiday, you're due for a break, or overall maybe you've been involved in a career for quite a number of years and maybe you're feeling like, maybe it's coming up for reassessment, reevaluation to decide as to whether you're going to continue or not. And the awakening energy is, I think that you might be moving out of this energy and into a fresh new one, a new energy. And that could be just a general theme that you've been kind of sitting in that energy of like, I think something needs to wrap up, and I think that I'm, due for a change, right? Sun at the moment. So there's something, there's something high frequency that's coming in that you're feeling it actually at the moment, okay? This is the Page of Cups. So maybe you're looking at your intuition, your spirituality, your creativity. And I think this is also about you bringing some self-love, care, some confidence, happiness and joy. And you're probably feeling into that at the moment is what I'm kind of getting from that. So I think maybe you have wrapped up this thing and you're moving into the awakening energy or the high frequency energy. An underlying theme here, Leo, is that you have the Ace of Swords and the 6 of Pentacles. So as you balance things out, and maybe this, whatever this was, maybe a career or a job role or something you've been doing in your life that was like a lot of hard work and maybe got you down or was exhausting physically or mentally, okay? I feel like the overall theme is that you're going to be bringing some more balance in here with your 6, more harmony, and this is going to help you to kind of feel clear, or it's almost like you're going, I think I need to create more balance in my life, and that's sort of, I think, going to clear the way and to give you some clarity so that you can keep going with these energies here with, creativity, paying attention to your emotions, and, this beautiful sun energy here as well, like confidence, radiance, source connection, spiritual connection as well. So, yeah. Ace of Swords, communication. Maybe you're communicating, or you will be communicating more, Leo. Maybe you will be participating in higher consciousness. I mean, you have the sun there as well. Maybe you'll be doing some meditation. And maybe you could be using technology for something in a way as well. General direction moving forward is the 10 of Swords and the 2 of Wands. So once again, this idea of something coming a full ending its cycle, okay? Something is completing, and here you are embarking on a new path. So this is, you know, a kind of reinforcing of the original energy that we found there that you've been feeling into, I think, over the last few months. We did talk about physical kind of fatigue there with the Ten of Wands, and this is can be like the mental fatigue or the stress or the, you know, the symptoms and things and the ways that our body can react over time if we are continually stressed. You know, if they're, I think it's the sympathetic nervous system that kind of kicks in, and if we're in chronic stress a lot of the time, you know, that's eventually we get to a point where it's like, you know, enough is enough. So that, you know, that might apply to some of you, you know, probably not all of you. But definitely Two of Wands there, embarking on a new path is something that is going to be a general direction. So you might be, yeah, let's see what your outcome's going to be here. You might be doing some preparatory plans, making some plans or something to move into that. Let's have a look. What have you got here? The Star, is it? Yes, it is. Interesting thing was this came out in the pre-shuffle. The Star. So the outcome is that, I guess, by allowing the natural cycle to do its thing and for something to come to a conclusion and stepping into a new path, it's going to help you to align with your spiritual self, your angelic self, and to feel connected to Earth, connected spiritually to your higher self as well. Let's grab a couple more cards here for outcome. I'll just take some off the top here. Seven of Pentacles, Four of Wands, and the Death in your challenge. Right, let's have a look here. Yeah, so along with the Star, you have the Seven of Pentacles. And this could be that you're just going to be doing some reflection on everything you've been through so far, Leo, and what you've achieved and what is going to be worth you pursuing and what is worth not pursuing, okay? But I think you're going to be now looking at doing that self-reflection with this Star energy in mind, with your soul self in mind as you make those evaluative decisions and evaluate, you know, yeah, what you are going to be, I guess, spending more time and energy on, okay, as you go, as time moves forward. And I think you will also certainly be looking at whether or not it's worth going back and, you know, continuing with this energy when it's probably coming to a conclusion. And you might also be looking at this energy here, okay, and just looking at maybe, you know, the overall effects on mind and body of whatever it is that you've been doing. We're not saying it's bad. We're just saying that, you know, sometimes when you're dedicated and devoted to something for a long period of time, there are reasons why we do it, and, you know, obviously a lot of positives. There could be fulfillment and meaning that you've gained from that. Perhaps it's a work role, but there could be other aspects to it that are no longer kind of ticking the boxes. And if they haven't ticked the boxes for a while, it could be that you're just at that point of like, you know, making a decision to change into something. The challenge is, I think, why the Death is in here. The Death is slow change and it's rebirth. So sometimes when we do want to make changes, and it's almost like, you know, if our nervous system is wired and we're used to being in this energy and we're used to being in this, you know, mental, physical sort of exhaustion, we get into a routine with it, and sometimes the idea of change and shifting that or moving into something else can be a bit daunting, strangely enough, because, you know, our personality can get used to doing things in a certain way. So that's why I think the change is in your challenge here. But this is a slow change, okay? Four of Wands, and this is about celebrating. So it's literally like this idea of, you know, looking at the positive side of going through these changes, Leo. And maybe at the moment it's difficult to perceive for you to perceive what those positives are for the change. And yeah, and it could also be that this is a difficult energy at the moment if you are, you know, physically and mentally, you know, pretty exhausted, but you're keeping things afloat and you're doing your best, Leo, right? This is about lightening the mood and doing some celebration, going out, having some fun as well, and you know, maybe acknowledging a milestone that you've reached. So maybe this is about, you know, maybe this is a challenge, but part of the process of change is almost, you know, celebrating how far we've come and celebrating the experiences that we've had. So it's about honoring and acknowledging all of the good that has come from what it is that you've been doing, and then making that as like part of a ritual that or something that you do that is then part of what's going to mark the beginning of the change process into something else. I think a lot of us will be using, you know, ritualistic means and ways of moving through life a little bit more ceremonial is what I'm trying to say. Not like a formal ceremony, but it's like, you know, some people are good at this. They are able to, you know, okay, I'm going through a change. I'm going to mark this occasion by doing A, B, and C. And some of us just feel like the only part of the process we have to do is like suck it up and get on with it, okay? But sometimes it's nice to mark something and do it with intent. It might even be that you know, set up your home. Maybe you're going to have a certain dinner. You're going to invite some people. Maybe then you're going to go out with some friends or family. And then you're going to do something else. And then at the end of that, you're going to, you know, do some sort of maybe writing, ritual, light a candle, meditation, whatever it is that, you know, just something to mark an occasion or a major transition. So we're at the moment for spirit guidance. We have the Seven of Wands and the Two of Pentacles has popped out here. So this is about boundaries for you, Leo, about, I guess, because you're kind of, I think you're going to be integrating something new into your life. And I think it's, you know, Spirit's saying you may need to create some boundaries. And by that, I mean, it's really about setting intent, and even in a meditation, or setting an energetic boundary, or doing certain practices, setting up your routine as a way of, okay, today I'm going to be doing this for myself as part of the change process. And then, you know, it's like setting intent, I think, is part of that as well. And Six of Wands, success. That's a nice card to finish. So, yeah, because I feel like if this two here, this is like the grounded, I think you've been very grounded in doing what it is that you've been doing, Leo. But if you are, I might be speaking to a few people here, if you are involved in a job role or something that is has taken its toll on you mentally and physically over the years, I think now this is the other thing that you are kind of energy that you're moving into. And I think you're already in it. This is you at the moment here, Leo, which is awesome. You've got the sun here, radiant, positive, light-filled. You know, I think you're feeling like a sense of release at the moment. And I think you're wanting to kind of continue that because, you know, things are only going to get more harmonious and clearer as you know, as it goes along. And that's sort of what this is representing, I'm feeling. So it's like you're kind of integrating, and maybe at the moment you're going backwards and forwards between the two. But I feel like and it could be more time spent here than here at the moment, possibly. But I feel like over time, the amount of time you spend here is going to equal the amount of time you spend here, or energy, okay? And maybe down the track, these two things are going to somehow blend. But it's really about you creating some boundaries around, I guess, you know, belief in yourself that you're able to make this change, aka the rebirth process. And you also have awakening, remember, which is, you know, you're literally awakening into a different you know, a 5D version of yourself. And here it is as well, Six of Wands. So this is also fire, but success, and you will be recognized for by others, okay, for what you do. And Spirit's saying that even if you're not sure at the moment, maybe you're sort of going through this evaluation process. It's like, because the energies are moving so fast and we're evolving so quickly now, like exponentially, it's sort of like what we're doing like right now is going to be completely different to what we will be doing like in, you know, like a year, for example. Because here we have the person is sitting in meditation, creating the boundaries, you know, trying to get everything organized. And this is really just Six of Wands. It's just, okay, standing out there, just shining, just doing it. There's almost like no need for boundaries anymore. What I'm trying to say, that doesn't sound right. What I'm trying to say is there could be a lot less of a struggle for us as in the future, because we'll all be understanding and more compassionate. Okay, I know that's a very idealistic you know, way to think. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that, you know, as we all move out of the density and into a lighter frequency, it kind of makes sense, and it's sort of logical that as time goes on, there'll be more of us that will be less affected by the density. And so when we're with those people of like mind, we won't feel as though we need to put up boundaries and really monitor our time spent here and our time spent there, okay? Because if it's all generally a higher frequency happening, it's just going to feel a lot smoother and more comfortable. And I think that's what Spirit's sort of saying here, is that, you know, ultimately there's going to be a success frequency here, which is, you know, going to be a lot lighter than these frequencies here for you, Leo. Okay. Let's look at, and for many of us, okay, Knight of Pentacles. Yep, we did talk about making some plans. Definitely making plans that are going to enable you to integrate the new energies into your life, and to integrate the higher frequency experiences, higher frequency connections, higher frequency activities, higher frequency consciousness. Okay, yeah, and also allowing yourself to spend time in high frequency environments, if I didn't say that already. Ace of Pentacles, yeah, new opportunity, new potential to do with health, well-being, you know, income, assets, places, you know, all of that physical world sort of stuff. It's all going to feel like new and fresh. Seven of Cups. This is about, I think, looking at options, but also considering what the difference is for you, Leo, between an option that's kind of like, yep, you want to, could quite well move into it, versus it being a distraction. So that's part of this evaluation process. Seven of Pentacles, of course, the number of seven as well. Seven of Cups, Seven of Pentacles. Just really, I guess, doing the reflection. But I really like your seven here with your the Knight, because as you're doing the self-reflection, maybe you're taking notes, you're doing some journaling, you're making some plans, maybe you're setting some goals, Leo, and yeah. And the Four, what a fantastic energy to end on. This is you believing in yourself, Leo, being source connected, which we have mentioned. I think you're moving into a spiritual way of being, but also activating your inner child, which is a really beautiful energy for many of us, to sort of acknowledge more in our lives and to activate more as we navigate daily life. Okay, yeah, it's just awesome. That's really lovely reading for you, Leo. I think it's really positive. You're going through an awakening process and a rebirth. Okay. And, you know, we've basically, all of us have done this hard yakka, okay? And it's okay. It's part of the process, okay? There's nothing bad about it. It's the way that we are evolving, because what's happening is that we're all coming into a higher frequency. But it's almost like we're we have such a depth of understanding of what it means to be in the low frequencies that this just makes us wiser as beings, and it makes us, you know, appreciate things all the more, okay, as we let go of what no longer serves and really sort of stepping into our soul self. Yeah, so that's what I have for you, Leo. I hope that's been helpful. I think we will wrap it up there, and I look forward to your next reading. In the meantime, have a great day, a fantastic week, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.